In this 3D Printing 101, I'm going to walk you through 5 of the most important settings when setting up your new 3D printer on a new slicer. So if you've got a 3D printer or you've had one for a while and you're trying a new slicer, for example, that's not set from the manufacturer and you're having issues, well, it's probably one of these 5 things that isn't quite right. And we'll go through them right now. Let's get started. How's it going, guys? Angus here from Muse. Now, I'm going to be showing these settings with Cura, but I do have an upcoming video on my top picks for free 3D printing slicers in 2019. I know I do these videos quite often, but the last one was in 2017, and things change really quickly. So we're going to deep dive into other software in future, but right now we're using Cura. And what I have is the settings for the Be Very Creative B2X300. Basically, that company, Be Very Creative, provided a Cura profile for the printer. But what if you don't have one, or you want to try Cura when it's not set up from the factory with your machine? Well, you need to make a new profile, and there's 5 critical settings you need to know before you get even into any of the fine tuning. So to do that in Cura, you go into Add Printer from the drop down menu, and we'll start with a complete custom build. So drop down, custom FFF, Fused Filament Fabrication 3D printer, and we'll call it test because I'm just testing this. All right, add printer. Now, the really cool thing about the latest Cura and a lot of slicers now is they have a wizard for setting up your 3D printer. It takes a lot of the guesswork out, but the most important thing you need to get right is your build volume. Yes, it sounds really obvious, but too many people just don't get the right build volume. So consult the information on your 3D printer, figure out what the build volume is, and get that number right, because not all firmware has what's known as soft limits. So for example, if I set this to 100 by 100, it's going to limit your slicing to that volume. But if I set it larger than my printer, for example, on a Prusa, if I set it to 300 wide, that's larger than the Prusa's print volume. And some machines might not have software limits, so it might actually try to print beyond the printer's capability. A lot of them do. A lot of them will actually physically stop it going further, but then you'll get, like, if you're doing a circle, it'll just make a line as it hits that soft limit. You don't want that. So make sure you get your printer's volume correct in your X, Y, and Z. So let's say I'm building a standard i3 would be like 180, 180, 180. So I'm just going to make mine 180 by 180 by 180 high. And it's important to get these correct. Now, if your printer is a Delta, you're not going to have a rectangular print volume, you're going to have a circular print volume, one that goes up as a cylinder and then tapers off to a cone at the top. And you'll have to change that to suit, but I'm slicing for a regular Cartesian, so rectangular. And then the next thing that a lot of people can get confused with is they'll set their print volume, but then wonder, why is the print printing in the corner, not the center? Now, this can happen for some machines. The origin, the 00 for XY, isn't in the bottom left, but it's actually in the center, or maybe even somewhere else, depending on the mechanics. And if that's the case, you will want to tick origin at center, or you'll want to do a custom offset. So under Extruder 1, you can actually set your nozzle offset X and Y here. And this is important if you're finding you're sending G-code to your machine and it's printing, you think it's going to be in the center, but it's printing in the top right-hand corner or something weird. That means the offset's not correct in your slicing settings, and you need to change that. And of course, if you have a Delta, then I think it's almost always the case where you want the origin at the center for your 00. And finally, heated bed. Is your print bed heated? Yes or no? Tick that box. And we'll move on to the second most important thing you need to set up, which is your filament diameter. 3D printing filament comes in 2 major flavors, 1.75mm and 2.85mm, which is often referred to as 3. You can see where this is kind of an important thing to change. It's significantly different depending on which filament diameter your machine uses. And if you don't get it right, it's gonna print terribly. And I've seen some people freaking out trying to change flow rates and stuff when actually their filament diameter was set wrong from the start. So under Cura Extruder 1, you want to set your compatible material diameter, your filament, and all my machines are 1.75, but you can see because Cura is made by Ultimaker, and Ultimaker is a 2.85mm filament machine, well, their machines are that, then they've had it as default here. So this is one of the things that often gets missed. So 1.75 is what I'm setting for my machine, and if you're in doubt, go and measure it. And something to be mindful of is sometimes crappy filament isn't even what it says it is. So get a pair of calipers and measure it across a few points along the roll to find out what it is. It might be 1.7, it might be 1.65, it might be 1.8, who knows. Changing the number to perfectly match the diameter means you're not going to be tweaking unnecessary settings later to try to like force it to work properly. This is the starting point. Get this number correct and buy good filament basically. But 1.75mm is what I'm using for my machine. Next is nozzle size. Most machines on the market come with a 0.4mm nozzle. That's sort of become the standard, but it wildly varies. You can get 0.2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 1mm, 1.2. You can even get 2mm nozzles with if you're using the 2.85mm filament. So obviously make sure you get this right for your machine. If you've got a 0.2mm nozzle but you set it at 0.4, it's going to be trying to force too much material through at once, leading to weird over extrusion and probably jamming and clogging. Whereas if you've got a 0.8 and you've set it at 0.4, it's not going to be putting enough material through, and therefore you're going to end with gaps in your walls and bad infill, all sorts of issues. This number needs to be correct for your machine, and if you change your nozzle down the track, you have to make sure you update it in the machine settings. Okay, with that set, we're pretty much done in our machine settings. There's other things you can change, like your start G-code, end G-code. The defaults are actually pretty good in Cura. It will do a prime, which is great for getting the material flowing through your hot end and your nozzle, and at the end it will retract a little bit and turn the motors off, turn all the heaters off. So it's a pretty good start and end. I'm not going to go into G-code in this video, but there's one other thing you do need to check, and that is your E-steps. So this is critical. You can set all this up perfectly, but your E-steps might be wrong, and then you're still going to experience incorrect extrusion. What I mean by E-steps is your material needs to be extruded at the correct rate and the correct amount. And sometimes it's wrong. Like, it's surprising, but sometimes manufacturers get it wrong in firmware. When it thinks it's extruding 100mm of filament, it's actually not. This is easy to check, but a little bit harder to tune and tweak. So I'll explain how I do it, and I'll link in the video description to a good video from Tom, which is quite old, but still really, really good. Basically, you want to load filament and then unload filament a precise amount. And then you want to find out if it's actually moved the amount you told it. So you can do this by sending G-code over a serial to USB connection to the machine using something like Repetier. That's generally how I do it. I'll tell the machine to send 100mm of filament, and then I'll use a black marker to mark on a precise point where that is on the filament. Then I'll tell the machine to retract 100mm of filament. I'll then mark where it's ended up, and I'll measure those 2 points. And if the distance is exactly 100mm, then my E-steps are spot on. But if they're not, then we'll have to alter them. Now, it's easy to do in Repetier. You can go into the firmware settings via the EEPROM config, and then from here you can see how many steps per millimeter the machine is actually configured for your extruder. And using the calculation on the screen right now, you can put in the number that it currently is and the E-steps that it currently is, and then using this, it'll pump out the correct amount of steps per millimeter to get the correct extrusion or E-steps. And this is really important because if your machine isn't extruding the right amount, then no matter how many tweaks you do down the line, it's going to be compensating for something that was wrong at the start. And I can't stress this enough, check your E-steps. Most of the time they'll be perfect, but again, it surprises me how many machines are on the market where it's not, and they just didn't bother tweaking the firmware enough. So there you have it, guys. 5 really critical settings for setting up your 3D printer on a new slicer. And if you did enjoy this video, please consider subscribing to Maker's Muse. I would love to have you on board. It's my aim to empower your creativity through technology, and as I said, there will be a much more in-depth slicer video in future on the best free 3D printing slicers for 2019, so look out for that, and I look forward to seeing you again very shortly. Catch you later, guys. Bye.